Infernal greetings, infernal blessings. Darkest of shadow work. Shadow work, unfortunately, in this current environment in society, has become very fluffy and light. I know I've said that in several videos, but let me explain why I say that. It's become a marketing campaign, something now psychologists pick up, and something that modern day individuals, new age, pick up, and they make the process real goofy and fluffy. They believe that all you have to do is breathe deeply, do a brief meditation, then you journal what comes to your mind. That is nonsense. Now, I'm not saying you can get some kind of benefit from that, because you can, but it's very minute. To really truly do shadow work is a difficult process that is involved. It is not just meditating and journaling. It is actually doing some path working and ritualized activities that bring about a change from the conscious mind dominating to bringing the subconscious mind to your awareness and letting that dominate so it can reveal the things that are hidden or stored within you. The problem is many people face is that they don't do enough shadow work. In my classes, in other people's classes on the left-hand path, even if you're learning the clip path, there is a level of shadow work involved within the ritual. Even if you're working with Lilith, there is a level of shadow work that is involved with the ritual. For the left-hand path is simply a path of self-mastery. Apotheosis is reaching your godhood or deifying the self, not deifying the false self, not deifying your illusions and delusions of grandeur. It is literally deifying self and becoming aware of your trauma, your pain, your issues, your programming, your conditioning that have ruled you and continue to rule you to this day. For example, if you were sexually abused, such as myself, I underwent that for some years. If you have been in that situation, usually there's two results that occur later on in your life. You either become extremely reclusive or you become extremely wild. And then sometimes you fluctuate back and forth. Either one is not healthy. There's a healthy medium between those two that we must reach. But because of our sexual trauma, we constantly fluctuate between extremes in our life. Our behavior fluctuates between extremes in our life. This is when shadow work is the most necessary. Doing journal work, meditating only takes you so far. You literally need to crack open your subconscious mind. And that is when the shadow work takes a life of itself and opens you up to deal with the trauma that you face since a child, since you've been a child and since you've developed since then. That's what is essential in shadow work, cracking through the subconscious mind. Journaling is not going to do it. Sorry, it will help somewhat, but that's not going to do it. Pulling tarot cards is not going to do it. It's only going to scratch the surface. You have 95% of your mind is the subconscious mind. You think that your conscious mind is going to tap into your subconscious mind, going all the way down to the deepest layers by pulling tarot cards? No, not happening. You have to do some extreme hard work. Shamans do this. This is why shamans, yes, I don't personally promote psychedelics or any of the kind, ayahuasca or anything like that, unless you have a shaman guiding you through there. I don't really promote those kind of external uses, because eventually if those things are not there, you have to learn how to tap into the abyss of your subconscious mind. You have to literally be able to do serious shadow work. I'll give you an example. In my shadow work class, which let me make the announcement now, the shadow work class is now active. And we will begin shadow work classes in 2022. However, it is active. There is some work that is involved in a shadow work class that you can already start before we begin the classes. But this is going to entail some serious work. One of the works that I've developed is the shadow work mirror ritual, utilizing 2 sets of mirrors to help crack the subconscious mind. It's very effective. And there is more work like that that will be done. Some of the work involves going out into nature. Some of the work involves finding dark hidden places in nature or within your house. But there's various methods and techniques we will utilize to crack our subconscious mind wide open to be able to tap deeply, to be able to crack as deep as we can and go as deeply as we can to our subconscious mind, the abyss, as some call it. From the abyss, you should be able to open a gateway to the void. The void is total destruction, annihilation, and total creation and transformation. That is the goal. The clip path is very effective in this work. Alchemy, particularly dark alchemy, is very effective in that work. We're going to combine many and various different traditions and paths to achieve the goal of serious shadow work. Now, for those who have taken a lot of my classes, you understand and you know that I do shadow work or provide some level of shadow work within all of the rituals in all of the classes. Some of you all still may need some serious shadow work, but that doesn't mean you leave the class you're in. It means you do both simultaneously, because both will definitely help you crack your subconscious mind open. Now, how do you know when you need shadow work? Well, sexual trauma is one. And rage and extreme rage and anger that has led you to situations that have put you in binds, put you in predicaments. That's another example. Insanity, repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome, but never changing the way you do things. That is an example of needing to do shadow work, because there's something deep inside of you that caused that repetitive pattern to occur. Behavioral issues, so on and so forth. We're going to go very deep in this because it's very necessary. You can learn about Lilith all you want. You can sexualize Lilith to basically enable your over-sexualized behavior. And that doesn't get you anywhere. It's only continuing the same pattern. Now, I'm not saying that you should not enjoy sex. On the left-hand path, we indulge, but with restraint. If you find you have no restraint, you are over-sexualizing and utilizing Lilith to justify your behaviors. That's not the goal. The goal is to utilize the archetype, the energy of Lilith, to help tap into your subconscious mind, to therein begins the process of facing yourself, facing the shadow self, the parts of yourself you refuse to face or have ignored or do not realize is there that has been plaguing you your whole life. Lilith, for example, has been depicted various ways throughout the history of time. But one thing you have to understand, there is about 8 billion different manifestations or paths of Lilith. You may say, what are you talking about, Ravana? Simple. There's 8 billion people on this planet, give or take, rough estimate, whatever the case may be. Your experiences, your programming, your upbringing, your background, your ethnicity, your racial background, so on and so forth, play a part in the manifestation of Lilith that you're seeking within your work. So when you subjectively manifest Lilith, her appearance may be different than 1,000 other appearances and depictions and descriptions of Lilith. For every one person on this planet, there is a Lilith. Huh? What are you talking about? You are the Lilith. Therefore, the manifestation of yourself that resonates with Lilith is another aspect of Lilith that you will bring forth. And it is your particular Lilith. It is that which is particularly designed and connected with you that is essential in your work. So don't do work with Lilith expecting to manifest her as the red-haired, pale individual that we commonly see depicted. That is someone's vision and idea, and they depict it in their drawings and artwork. That doesn't mean that's the only manifestation of Lilith. There is various, like I said, about probably 8 billion manifestations of Lilith, because there's a manifestation of Lilith for each and every person that you can and will possibly manifest in your subjective world. But we're not going to co-sign that, because that's your personal manifestation, your personal work. And I don't doubt you might have manifested that, but it doesn't mean it's real to me. Doesn't mean it's real to 1,000 other people, because we're not there to co-sign what you saw. It is there for you and only you, and that is the manifestation that you need in your shadow work. That is the manifestation you need in your shadow work to continue the process of reaching apotheosis. There's 8 billion manifestations of Lucifer, so on and so forth. But we all wrestle with this several manifestations that are provided to us by other individuals. You're doing yourself a disservice if you accept those manifestations and descriptions and depictions, and that disconnects you from the real purpose of the work. Finding your connection and resonating with that energy, that archetype of Lilith, is important. It's the most important aspect of your work, because that is that energy that is provided through that connection is what opens your subconscious mind. It is what opens, cracks it open, and allows the shadow work to take hold. So we will, in our shadow work class, utilize different archetypes, and then we won't utilize archetypes. Depending on the work that vibes and flows through the class is what will manifest in the shadow work. Shadow work is of the utmost importance, but please, people, get away from this fluffy stuff, man. You could get some results, but that's not exactly what you need. But why people don't do the darkest of shadow work is because it scares the living crap out of them when you see your primordial beast-like self appear. when you see that primordial self has no morality based upon a human construct, the human construct of morality, you start to get startled, shook, and some people run from that because they come joining the left-hand path thinking this is some Harry Potter work. It's not Harry Potter. It takes time, dedication, discipline, and consistency to get true results. But your work should not be based upon just trying to obtain results. You should have a love, a passion for the left-hand path, that even if you don't get results, you would still do your rituals. You would still adhere to the philosophies and the principles that are taught within the left-hand path. That is the difference between an individual who really is walking the left-hand path and becomes a Black adept, or someone who professes to walk the left-hand path, but truly does no inner work, no shadow work. They just get in here because it's magical, it's deep. They want to be satanic. They want to be dark. They want to be about debauchery and grotesque and all these things. No, that's not what the left-hand path is totally about. Those things are found within the left-hand path, but that's not what it's totally about. Apotheosis is what we strive for. Therefore, Luciferianism is something that will always be a foundation and a root to much of the teachings that myself, Brother Beniti, and others provide. Because Luciferianism is a strong foundation that helps build your work on the left-hand path. This 2022, we have serious work to accomplish. So the darkest of shadow work is just one class that will be open and utilized to reach apotheosis. The left-hand path, or the left-hand path African magic class, begins in 2022, January, where we will be working the African traditions from a left-hand path perspective. That means the traditions, that means the religious beliefs, principles, and morality that is taught within these left-hand paths, within these African traditional religions, will be mute. We're not using any of those traditional religious codes and guidelines and principles. No. We're strictly working the left-hand path, African magic, from the left-hand path perspective. So, let's say Baun Zamzi, Baron Sunday to some, will be utilized not to worship, not to grovel, but to become. To utilize that energy of that archetype and become a Baun Samzi, a Baron Samdi. That is what it's going to be taught and done in this work. We're not going to grovel. We're not going to do offerings. That's all traditional, religious crap. We're getting away from that, because to reach apotheosis, you have to stop bound to Baun Samzi, to Obatala, to Oshun, to Ogun, to the Loa, to the Orisha, to the Ankisi, and so on and so forth. You have to literally become them. And that scares the living crap of a religious-minded person. So we're coming from a straight left-hand path perspective, where if you are a warrior and have the warrior energy, you just might be working with Ogun, or Shango, or Chosi, so on and so forth. Zarabanda, Siete Rayos, so on and so forth. You have to be prepared. and leave the religiosity alone. Leave it away. Leave it out of here. We don't work down on the left-hand path. So that also will be taught. And then I will be doing a 3-month finance classes where I will teach some of the secrets I learned on financing that can help you, on your financial wealth, that can help you become well off. I come from a real estate investing perspective, but I've learned different areas of wealth and how to obtain wealth and the disciplines and the techniques necessary. We'll go over credit, the importance of your credit in the credit world. We'll go over cryptocurrency, so on and so forth. We'll go over a lot of different things. That will also start in January, most likely January or February, most likely January 2022. This 2022, I'm not playing games with people. We are being disciplined. We're going to do serious shadow work, serious ritual work, and we're going to, all of us, including myself, reach a level of financial stability that we have never imagined before. And if we have imagined, it'll be far surpassing what we've imagined. We have the gifts and abilities, but we have to use them. But to do that, we must face ourselves. We must face that reality. We must be open to that reality. And we must do something about that reality. So let's do the work. Let's get busy. The darkest of shadow works is here. If you've been seeking shadow work, it's time to sign up in 2022. All right, infernal greetings, infernal blessings to all.